Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the mental health series. Today we have Grumpy joining in. So she's has completed MBA and has a diploma in psychotherapy, and that would be great. Thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me over. I'm Dr. Noor Gill, and I also fondly go by the name of Dr. Grumpy Gill, hence Grumpy. And it thank you so much for having me over.
It's my pleasure again. Yeah. Before starting, that would be great if you can give a brief introduction about your work and what you do.
Okay, so I am a fresh out of the oven doctor. I've done my MBBS, and which I followed and I did a diploma in psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working with a few NGOs and non-profit organizations, and nationally and internationally, working towards creating awareness about mental illnesses and other works here and there. So yeah.
Okay, great. And yes, before starting the session, that would be great if you can tell about mental health. What do you think? What is mental health according to you?
Okay, so mental health is an aspect of your whole well-being. As a person, by the definition of healthy by the WHO says that someone who is, there's an absence of disease physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. Like there's no hindrance in any of these aspects. So mental health is an important aspect of that part or the definition of a healthy human being. As long as there are humans, as long as they have good functioning brains, there will be mental illnesses, racking up. It's just that they don't always present on a CT scan, or will not always present with symptoms which you can even, which meet the eye.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. And yes, before starting, getting into the question for today's session, that would be great. Like if you can speak about and give a short brief about today's topic and what we're going to speak about.
Okay, so we will be covering everything. So how to feel a little less inadequate. See, the idea of adequacy and inadequacy, it's sort of instilled in us since the beginning, because we were told that there are good people and there are bad people, and if you do certain things, you will be a good person. If you don't do certain things, you might be a bad person.
Yes.
Right. So then so you start feeling adequate or inadequate depending on that social construct of an appropriate, well-behaved human being. You decide that if you do certain things in life, you
Mm-hmm,
are
mm-hmm.
adequate, or you're living a happy and healthy life. And
Yeah.
if you're not doing those things that you're expected to do, you feel inadequate. Or it's not just that, it's you start when you're comparing yourself to someone else, you start feeling like you're falling short in a few aspects. And we sort of start uh, measuring ourselves through someone else's ruler, which is something that we shouldn't do, which sort of makes us feel inadequate. And there's no reason to feel that way, because everyone has their different course in life. Not everyone can follow that one track which has been given to you. So yeah,
Okay.
we'll be talking about inadequacy, how to not feel that way, and other nitty-gritty details here and there.
Okay. Yes. So how somebody feels in adequacy? Like how do we feel that?
Okay, so I think it's a very in its very broad sense. Inadequacy, you can feel inadequate on different levels, on a
Uh-huh.
professional level, on a personal level. In a relationship with someone or with your family, you might feel that you're not, just that feeling of not doing enough, which is followed by guilt, and then which comes out or is transformed into shame for not doing certain things, sort of makes you feel inadequate. And especially in today's times, where everyone has access to a camera phone and they can click a picture here and there, you only tend to see one side of the photo. You don't see what's on the other side of the camera,
Yes.
which only gives you that once, when you see a picture of like a nice scenery, and you see that, oh my god, this person's enjoying their life and I am not. They make you feel that way, and that makes you feel inadequate. That makes you feel like you're compelled to enjoy your life, but you're not doing it. they seem to be really enjoying their life, which makes you feel that you are not enjoying it
Enjoy.
enough.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. So that makes you feel inadequate. Even in families and relationships, it's in those aspects, it can be like, the other person, the expectations that are set for you,
Mm-hmm.
you don't meet them, and then you're made to feel bad about it again. Then the shame and guilt vicious cycle starts, and you start feeling inadequate again. So inadequacy has a lot to do with what the external factors expect of us, and
Uh-huh.
how we internalize all those factors and how we perceive them.
Okay, okay. And why does somebody feels that? Like, why would, if somebody sees somebody is cooking a beautiful dish or doing, baking something good, so why we tend to, not become happy for them and start feeling bad? What's the reason for that?
Okay, so we get like a little scientific here. Not exactly scientific. So, there is this standpoint theory. So, the standpoint theory says that, not every brain perceives or makes the same connection at the same time. You and I could be looking at the same thing, but when we describe it, we will not describe it in the same way. Okay.
Okay.
So, when we do that, so when you are cooking, that
Mm-hmm.
is making you happy, or whatever it is that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or maybe, because you are going to put up whatever. I see you cooking, and I only see you, coming out with a fresh baked cake. I don't see how many times you burnt it. I did not see any of that. I only saw the end result of it,
Yes.
which made me feel that this person knows how to bake and I don't. He has the same opportunities, he has the same material and the same time. Why am I not doing enough with it?
And
So it
isn't
is
isn't
very.
isn't, isn't the same thing which happens with this? Like, for example, I'm seeing a recipe online. I try to make it, but doesn't become the same, and but I feel bad for that. Is it that same thing? You mean by that?
Is it is in a way like that, that you set your expectations so high,
Mhm.
because what you're seeing, you don't realize that they have reached there after practicing it,
Yes.
and getting the correct angle, and there were so many things that went into it, and there was so many years of hard work, after which that one perfectly baked goodie came in front of you. So you don't see all of that. We want what they have right now. We're not ready to work for it.
Okay. 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 And how can somebody stop feeling that inadequacy? No. How can somebody stop feeling that?
Okay, so first things first is that all of us are very different individuals, and we need to sort of start embracing our individuality. That you and me were not wired the same. What you like, I might not like, but what you do best, I mean, there's jealous and there's envy. Jealousy is a negative emotion. It's sort of jealousy makes you want to dislike the person. Envy makes you want to do better, because you don't mean harm to the person, but you also want to do better for yourself. So when when you see someone doing something, start trying. Maybe ask them ki, oh, how did you do it? If the person is honest enough and upfront with you, you will realize, I mean, they'll tell you, okay, this happened and then I did this and I did that. First things is, always set very small achievable goals for yourself.
Mhm.
Don't over expect, because you might under deliver. Okay. But then that is, so also, some people, they feel better when they keep their projects under wraps, and then, once it's done, then they come out, and that is perfectly okay. Some in schools, we always had that one person who used to study very well or score very well, but every time you asked him ki, acha tu padh ke aaya hai, and then that person would be like, nahi, maine kuch nahi padha.
Yes.
And so, but then, if you want to be that person, you go ahead and you be that person, because if you're not comfortable with sharing, your works with everyone, that is perfectly okay. Some things are meant to be just for you.
Yes.
Likewise, if like, this was studies aspect, even creativity, you
Mhm.
know if there are certain things or certain secrets that you want to just keep to yourself, that is perfectly fine. If you do photography and you don't want to tell people how you get a certain effect, or whatever it is, or however it is that you're doing your thing, then don't tell them. That is your USP, and you're allowed to keep secrets for yourself.
Yes.
And one more thing is, you should then not sort of associate or compare yourself to other people. Everyone has a different pace and a different momentum, and we should all sort of learn how to respect that. It might take some time for you to reach wherever they have reached in such little time, but comparing yourself to someone else's work is not fair to you,
Mhm.
because you are good at certain things in life. I might be amazing at painting, but just because someone else is doing poetry, I am compelled to do poetry. I am definitely going to fail at it, but just because I am seeing that person do it, I want to do it because I want to beat that person, not because I want to better myself. You
Mhm.
need to see what will make you a better person, what works for you, what does not work for you, and all of these things, they take their time. You don't get up and realize that, Acha, this is what I'm good at. You become good and then better and then best at whatever it is that you're doing. And one more thing is, we need to stop sort of associating our worth to the number of likes that we get on Instagram, or the number of retweets that we get, or the followers that follow us back. Our lives are so much more than just our Instagram aesthetic or the Twitter blast that we did.
Yeah.
And we need to make it a little more than just that. So that also has like a lot to do with inadequacy, because we sort of tend to compare ourselves with a life that someone else is living, which might not match with our lives.
Okay, okay. And we were speaking about starting before the session. We were speaking about how what like you were speaking about positive toxicity. What's that?
Okay, so positive toxicity, it sounds like a misnomer. How can something, excuse me, so positive be so negative? I mean, how can it be toxic? So I think how our moms are like, सारा दिन phone में घुसे रहते हो, आग लगा दूंगी. सच्ची में लगा देनी चाहिए, because the thing is that no one will put their pictures up when they're crying in the library because unse syllabus khatam nahi ho raha hai. Nobody will put up pictures of when they've just gotten scolded by their superior. But everybody is shoving the idea of happiness and be happy and a wholesome life down your throats, that you sort of feel like you're not doing enough to have a life like that,
Mhm.
which is wrong. Because if I tell you that you're supposed to be happy all the time, that's not right, because the human brain has an array of emotions. There's happy and angry and sad and jealous. And just saying that you can only feel one emotion, that is wrong, because it's the hormones and the neurotransmitters which are causing you to react a certain way, and however it is that you're reacting. And too much of happy is also not good for you. Even if you're doped up on dopamine and serotonin, it still leads to mania, which is also not a good thing, right? So
Mhm.
too much of anything is bad, be it positive or negative in that aspect. And with everyone telling you that you should be happy, it is okay, you should live a life as luxurious as this, and you should have at least 5 cars by your 25, and at least one home which has a walk-in closet. They're not setting realistic goals, and we that makes us not set realistic goals. It's like a monkey see monkey do sort of a phenomena. What you see you want to do, but it is not good for you, so you should just stop seeing it altogether.
Okay, okay,
Because
okay,
yeah.
okay. And what kind of things would you like to add up or talk about befriending this session?
um okay, so we can in like the current times, so while we're still in the middle of an ongoing pandemic, I think one of the most, I would say, needs to be talked about, which is feeling underproductive or like you're not doing enough, which sort of accentuates your anxiety. For some people, it's just not having from going to doing so much in a day. Like they would wake up at 8 in the morning, come back home at 6 in the evening. All of a sudden their lives have sort of come to a halt. For a generation who is so used to being in front of a screen for so many long hours, about 80% of the time we would be staring at a screen, be it preparing a presentation or watching Netflix. All of a sudden we've been told ki acha now ghar pe baitho. So it is very hard, that transition, but it is also understandable. Now I can't make a very condescending sa promise ki, this will be over in a week or two or soon also, because we don't know how soon it will be. It could be way further or later in the future. So a few things that I think have sort of helped me, and I have known people that it has helped them to increase their productivity, and as a result of that become a little less anxious, is firstly setting a routine. Now this is a little hard because it is sort of an unofficial chutti that we're all on, but it is not exactly chutti. We are at war, and to win a war you need to get up, and sort of sometimes even before 12 o'clock in the morning. And for this war we need to stay indoors, but you need to wake up, make yourself maybe like an hour or two later than you would have when you had work to do. But still wake up, get up, brush, shower, put on, like split some nice perfume, and then sit down to work. Make sure that whatever your workspace is, it's clutter free. Because if you come back to a ganda sa room na, then you all just want to put all the books on your table and then just curl in your bed and be like, whatever, I will look into it tomorrow. So you should wear nice clothes, clear your table, remove all the clutter, make it look how your workstation or your office station used to look like, or your study station. Because our brains, they're conditioned in a they're conditioned, or to sort of work in a particular set of environment. So you need to create an illusion for your brain and trick it into working. So we're not at home, we're still at work, so we're supposed to still do it. So this little trick, decluttering yourself and making it look similar to your office station, sort of mentally prepares you for the work that you're going to do, even if it is from home. Then, like I said, we need to set smaller expectations and achievable goals. Put it down on a sticky note, and every time you achieve something, just cross it off. Because that satisfaction that you get when you strike something off, you feel good कि अच्छा मैंने आज कुछ तो किया मैंने. And also when you get up in the morning, maybe make your bed. It's not too much, but it sort of makes your brain think that, okay, I am off to a good start. If I can do this, I can do anything types wala na. So it's mostly about sort of tricking it and making it want to work. And working out and exercise is very important. Because I know that we can't go to the gym, but we can do yoga, we can get off our butts and go for a walk, or some just 30 minutes of walking here and there, and that, I mean, should do it. And if you say that I don't have any weights, you can use water bottles or gamblas or whatever it is, you can still do things. And like we need to use sort of this opportunity. And I don't want to tell, I mean, it's okay to have some days when you don't want to do anything at all, but this I want everyone, once all of this is over, I want everyone to go back to work still connected to what they were doing. This was a long break, and even when you go back, I want you to still stay relevant to whatever industry that you're stepping in or you have stepped in, and stay on your toes, and know what is happening around in the world that you work.
Yes.
So
yeah, wonderful. So yes, thank you very much for being here. A wonderful session. I just really it was a different, you took me to a different level of yeah, that was really amazing. Thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.